Halfway through the Winstel Cup Series, we are now find ourselves just outside Chicago, in the Sweet Home Chicago, in the heart of the Midwest. Joliet, Illinois is our place we find ourselves tonight, where we go racing one more time from the Tri-Oval here at Chicagoland Speedway. Just outside Chicago, Illinois, as the chase for the Winstel Cup, the opening chase for the Winstel Cup, gets tighter and tighter with every race. Will Parker Alexander be able to hold on, or will we see a new person in the catbird seat? We'll find out in 60 laps. Here with the Winstel Series once again on ABN TV. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Cortez. Joining me, as always, the lady who makes everything run here, Carmen Sienna. And Carmen, it's always a fun time when we come to tracks like this at Chicagoland. They say the routine. They call them cookie cutters. But they also allow for a lot of creativity because these drivers know what the track is. They know what the cars are capable of. And it makes for a very, very interesting ride in terms of strategy.
Cookie cutter doesn't really apply to this track at all. I mean, it's a staple of a lot of the races that we see, or a lot of the series race here on ABN, because it is so unique. It's a mile and a half, kind of in line with what you see with Kentucky, Kansas, Charlotte, so on and so forth, but it's very different in terms of how it's shaped. Progressive banking is somewhat prevalent here at Chicagoland Speedway, not as prevalent as it is at Kansas, but more so than what you see at Texas or at Charlotte. So it's a bit different there. It's obviously it's a tri-oval. It's not a quad oval like what you see with Atlanta or Texas or Charlotte. The biggest thing is that it's a constant radius track. You're always turning through it. The backstretch is curved. Obviously, you look at if you look at the map of the track, it's completely it's a complete turn all the way through. So you're always having to be physical throughout the lap because you're always putting energy into making a lap happen. And that's part of what makes this track in particular so interesting, is that every single movement you make at this racetrack matters. It's so important to not just think about the corner ahead of you, but think about the exit of like turn 2, think about the exit of turn 4, because those runs that you get out of those corners are so vital. It's so hard, it's so important to make sure you get that right, because it's so hard to get it back if you lose that advantage that you have. Qualifying is going to be kind of important, but the further back in the field you get, the more of the melee you get, as we've seen so often this season. This is a multi-groove track, but it's going to take some work to get that upper lane going. Once they get it going, it's not going to be stoppable, though. And I think the drivers that are able to maximize that and make it work first will be the ones that have the advantage later on in this race.
Entirely possible. Looking at the track, 18 degrees banking in the turns, 11 degrees on tri-oval, and 5 degrees along that curved backstretch. So it is going to be a very physical race. It's going to give these drivers a lot of opportunity to make some runs and figure out how they want to run here. As we go through the Winstel Cup Series standings right now, Christian Budd passes Gabriel Mauricio for the top spot. Mauricio now 18 points behind. Dylan Roberts, Jose Solis Jr., both winners on this series. Dre in fourth, Emily Howe in fifth, Sean Palik, Nick Doucette, Thomas Lewandowski, and Brendan McGee all solidly in the chase as it stands right now. And Parker Alexander on the catbird seat, as we talked about earlier, going into this race. Currently sitting 10th. He is right behind him is Tyler Head, who previously announced he would not be running for the championship, but Tyler Head still could play spoiler to Chris Champeau, who is right now about 40 points away from Parker Alexander getting into that chase. So that is a cutoff. You see line Reese right there. Chris Champeau, Mike Rasmus, Jonathan Hernandez, who won big last week at Daytona, Chrissy Ryan, Evan Locke, all still within striking distance of getting into the chase.
Yeah, it's a huge sort of swing of events based on what happened at Daytona. With 5 races to go, it's going to be so important to make sure that you get yourself positioned correctly. You look at drivers like TJ Crampton, Alex Bates. They're going to need to start putting together some really solid results here in the next 5 races to have a chance to get into the top 10, because the top 10 is so fierce. It is so competitive. And we've seen that so often this season. It's so difficult to make inroads on once if you're on the outside of the top 10. It's hard to make inroads to get into it. But once you find that momentum and you can break through and get into it, you typically can put together those results back to back. So that's what I think the hope is there for Hernandez, who won last week at Daytona, to try to do. Mike Rasmus was in that top 10 but missed some races, so now he's got to try to refine that form. Hopefully he can do so in that 6 car. Now we see Christina Ryan, we've seen have up and down results. Christian Poe, we've seen have some up and down results. And Parker Alexander's one really bad race from being back outside the top 10. It is still very easy, and so is Brendan McGee for that example. One bad race and suddenly you're on the back foot here, and that's part of what makes this battle for the top 10 so special.
It really is special, you know, and especially when you consider all the nostalgia that goes into each of these races, each of these teams, each of these drivers. It makes for a very, very fun season all the way around, and ones that are memorable, to say the least. We're currently in qualifying. Christian Butt on the pole right now. Let's follow along with the 6 of Mike Rasmus, who is currently taking his one and only qualifying lap right now. He's going to have a long way to go if he wants to beat Christian Butt, your current pole sitter, your current points leader in the pole position. Driving that number 6 Viagra machine, I believe that was inspired by Mark Martin back in 2004. Cuts through the tri-oval back onto the racing service, and he will take his one and only qualifying lap this time by onto the curve backstretch. And you're right, Carmen, they are fighting the car all the way around this track. There is no rest for the wicked, as they say, and these guys will be going wicked fast around this track through turns 3 and 4 and then back into the tri-oval one more time for Mike Rasmus in that number 6 Viagra machine, trying to keep it going hard all the way through the track, across the start finish line, and that's good enough to put him in 7th. So he's looking at starting in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job on that lap, and you saw there was a good camera shot he had coming out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. You see how curved it is as Alexander really fights that car in the exit of 2. The car wants to wash out the way that car unloads. We saw this in the ABN Champ Car World Series when at the start of season 5. The way the car just unloads on the exit of 2 is so different. Typically it's turn 4 where drivers struggle on most of these 1.5 mile tracks. Here it's turn 2 because it just drops off dramatically. As we see Alexander's lap time here, only 16th place. That struggle, that lift he had to do in turn 2 cost him big time. And we saw what that looked like. Timothy Latham beginning his lap now. See what the 84 car can do. But the way the turn just sort of drops off into that banked or that curve back straightaway. You have that wiggle room because the track still kind of is going away from you, but you're still chasing the car so much. And if you feel like the car is not where you want it to be, you have to lift because you either spin or you end up making contact with the outside wall. And that's obviously in qualifying. It's something you don't want to do if you're on only one lap. Timothy Latham had a little bit cleaner of a lap there than Parker Alexander, but it was slower, notably 24th fastest only for the 84 car, and that's a big change.
Definitely a big change to consider. These cars are they're older, they're overpowered, and they definitely make for a much more challenging drive compared to the cars of today. But it's not a bad change. It's one that you just have to simply get used to and be prepared for. And it's a shift of mindset, I guess, is the best way to put it. It's a shift of mindset when you consider all the factors that have to go in to making the car work, especially compared to other forms of racing. So as we follow now, Corey Cook in the net zero car, number 0, as he crosses the start finish line to take his qualifying lap. He will start 25th. That's going to be quite a long climb for Corey Cook.
Yeah, not quite where I think Corey Cook wanted to be there. 33 cars at lap time, so obviously he's down in the lower part here. But we've seen Corey Cook move his way forward before in that 0 machine, so he's going to try to do so again tonight. Again, not a bad effort here. We'll see if Corey Steinhauser runs a lap here. It looks like he will not. He was the only one that seemed like he was ready to go. So we'll end qualifying, and we're going to have a decent amount of cars running at the back of the field as we get ready to look at the starting grid.
As we get ready to look at the starting grid, Christian Budd, your points leader, maintains his spot at the top of the poll. So he will go ahead and set and start at the top of the field. Let's go ahead and take you through the starting grid for tonight's race here at Chicagoland Speedway. Christian Budd, Zach Campbell will be on front row. Christian Budd, again, your point leader, looking to steal another win, his second. I believe, actually, check that back, it'll be his third of the season, if memory serves me correctly. Yes, it would. It'd be his third win if he was able to go pole to pole here. Zach Campbell in second, Alex Kolonix in third, Nick Doucette, another season winner, will start position number 4. Thomas Lewandowski, not a winner yet, but as always in striking distance, will start position number 5. Larry Pace in position number 6. Mike Rasmus, Emily Howe will start row number 4, and row number 5 belongs to the 11 of Anthony Kroback and the 40 of Gabriel Mauricio.
Further on down the order here in the starting grid, Dylan Roberts, another race winner in the number 8 car, starts in row number 6 alongside Sean Peleg. Steve Brown, making his 4th start in the season, starts alongside the 77 of Davin Cornelius. Jose Solis Jr. starts alongside Parker Alexander, not where either of those cars want to be in the middle of the field. They'll have to move away from 15th and 16th on the grid. They sit ahead of Evan Locke and Matt Taylor. They make up row number 9. In the top 20, earmarked by last week's winner, Jonathan Hernandez, and the 49 returning on track once again, Andrew Griesbaum.
Going through the next series, Brandon McGee, Philip Snipes, the teammates that would have been at Evernham Motorsports will start row number 11. Row number 12 belongs to Ali Osman, Timothy Latham. Row 13, you just saw Corey Cook do his qualifying run. He will start the inside of 13 alongside Alex Bates. Chris Champeau, one of the drivers looking to try to break into the chase, will start in this inside of row 14 with Brandon Cruz. And row 15 belongs to Alex Chilcutt and Mo Perry.
Looking further down the order here one more time, we have James Bowles, Tyler Murray, Rory Collins, Kyle Benson in row 17, Matt Sisler, TJ Crampton, Olivia Hayward, Corey Steinhauser in row number 19. Row 20, we have 40 cars on track tonight. Andy Reeves and Hayden Reefus make up the final row.
So 40 drivers will take the call when we go to green flag racing here in just a moment. The lights are off on the pace car, and Christian Budd, who's looking for his 3rd win on the season, will start in position number 1, looking to edge out everybody and solidify his spot at the top of the points standings. 60 laps to go here at Chicagoland Speedway in the heart of Chicagoland, Joliet, Illinois, where we are at. So glad to have you here on ABN1. Glad you want to have you for our green flag racing performance and coverage of the Winstel Cup Series, the 2004 edition of the Winstel Cup Series, throwing it back almost 20 years now. Yeah, 20 years. To when this was. I remember when this was all the new stuff back when I was a younger man in these days. Pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road, and Christian Budd is in command of the field. Green flag will fly. Here we go. Let's go racing for the Chicagoland as Christian Budd immediately under fire from Nick Doucette and the rest of the field.
Not a great restart there by Alex Collins, 45. A little bit of wheel spin from the second row. He's going to drop back big time early on. It allowed Doucette to get ahead and really sort of have clear air to challenge for the front of the field. And see all the cars really just kind of buzz by there on the back straightaway. Kolonix now sitting in a little 3 wide. Lewandowski to the inside lane. And then you have the 48 of Peleg on the outside.
3 wide there, the 21, the 45, the 48, all trying to figure out what to do with that 45 machine. The advantage will ultimately go to the 21 of Lewandowski. He'll get around as the 48 gets sideways, trying to make the high line work. The 48 recovers very well. Peleg in a good way, but that's going to cause a little bit of tire wear. A little too early for that, as now the 45 starts to get it collected and tries to fight with the 6 of Mike Rasmussen for position.
Trying to settle in a little bit here. 60 laps. We know it's a 2 pit stop race, so everyone knows what they're working with at the moment. You see the 41 of Zach Campbell. Actually, I believe that's 39 Campbell. I'll have to double check on that. Looks like he's driving the 39 car here this evening. We'd have to double check. Yeah, showing the 39 car on screen at the moment. But you have Nick Doucette there on in the 24, the classic DuPont 24, on the outside lane, making his run around, trying to get clear for second. Larry Pace, once again, another good start there for the 98 car. He's found the qualifying performance in that number 98 Lucas Oil machine. Just hasn't been able to put together the results that he's been looking for. Right now, he's in a really good spot.
But tonight could change everything. It's a different kind of track as he gets a big wiggle. The commentator's curse hits him, but he's able to recover. And Larry Page will keep it position number 3. Now up front, it's a battle of strategies with the 17 going low, the 24 going high through turns 3 and 4. The 24 of Nick Doucette's going to continue to go high as we follow along with the 39, not 41, of Zach Campbell. Not sure for the number change. We'll see if we can get back to the bottom of that. Christian Budd continues to lead, but now it's a matter of who works the line the best. We talked about a lot of multi-lane driving in this track, and so far we're seeing that come together. Christian Budd, though, he's got the car to beat. He is fast out there right now, as everybody slows down for the caution flag.
And trying to figure out what the caution flag is for there. It looks like issues further on down the order here. We'll go back and look at what happened here. Looks like it could be for the 01 of James Bowles. It would be for James Bowles. We had to try to go back and look at it because it looks like everyone just about saves it here. But you see there's with Griesbaum, his first race back in a little bit. This is the 01. You see the 49 just got loose for the 01. Yep. They both kept it straight, but 2 cars in the wall. Gonna throw the yellow there.
The caution flag comes out for the first time, and we're starting to see everybody get a case of the wiggles out there. We've seen it several times. The 49 got involved. We saw it with Larry Page getting involved, getting the wiggles. Let's follow this one more time as we follow along from the perspective of James Bowles. Nowhere for him to go as he gets into the wall. Just got hit tagged by the 49 instead of Andrew Griesbaum. Let's rewind it just a little bit there. You see Chris Champeau in front, able to avoid the wreck as he gets under the 49 of Griesbaum. Griesbaum just gets a case of the wiggles here coming out of the turn, nowhere to go, and I think the 01 accidentally gave him a hand there, accidentally gave him a little shove coming out of turns 3 and 4. They'll both get into the wall, and that will bring out your first caution flag of the night. But yeah, as we were saying, looks like everyone's getting a case of the wiggles early. We saw it with Griesbaum, we saw it with Page, and a couple other drivers as well, Carmen. This may be a problem we're going to see throughout the race tonight.
It very well could be. Obviously, you're looking at Zach Campbell, who had a slower pit stop there. Christian Budd, I think, stayed out of pit lane here on this most recent stop. Again, it's still kind of a 2-stop race. I don't believe you can save enough to really sort of make it without making a second pit stop if you did come in. But obviously, some of the top drivers there, Budd, Doucette, Pace, Mauricio, and Peleg, they all had that feeling that track position was more important. So they're either trying to maintain it or gain it in the case of Mauricio and Peleg, and Corey Cook as well.
Way too early for pit stops. Pits windows around lap 20 and 40 we'll see today. But is this going to create, maybe extend that window a little bit if nothing but fuel alone? Tires are going to be a big of an issue, though, as we saw everybody getting the wiggles, getting moved back and forth out there. So it'll be very interesting to see exactly what happens, exactly how everyone's going to manage their tires as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Single file restarts as we get ready to go, and the pace car lights are off. So about 3/4 of a lap left. Christian Budd has led all 8 laps of the race so far. Can he continue to lead and take this home for his 3rd victory on the season? He's got some very experienced drivers behind him. Nick Doucette now in 2nd. Larry Page still in 3rd. And I believe Gabriel Mauricio now, yes, he has a silver bullet, now up in 4th ahead of Sean Peleg.
Peleg, Cook, Chilcutt, Crampton, then you see Zach Campbell and Emily Howe rounding out your top 10 as you get ready to come to the first restart of the race. Christian Budd's led every lap so far. He's going to try to continue that here as we go back to green. Again, 2 pit stop race for those at the front of the field at least. I believe it's going to be 2 pit stop race though for everybody as some drivers came in for fresh tires. But the pace car will take the hard left. And it's on Christian Bud's call.
Christian Bud going to lead them to the restart. Green flag flies once again, and Christian Bud looks like he didn't get the restart he wanted. Doucette, Page, and Mauricio all immediately fighting him for position 2 by 2 going into turns 1 and 2. But on the outside, Larry Page down low, and it could be advantage Page as he tries to make the pass out of turn number 2. He will make it, but what's going to happen now out of the curved backstretch? Curved backstretch, Mauricio will go, I'm sorry, Page will go high, Mauricio will go low, and side by side we could have 2 lap lead changes on 1 lap. Christian Bud looking for somewhere to go as Mauricio gets the advantage, will cut the tri-oval, and he will be your leader. 2 lead changes, 1 lap. Mauricio gets the advantage.
Yeah, Larry Pace unfortunately didn't get the lead that lap. Mauricio followed him through and then followed him past. But Larry Pace on the outside lane is going to build some momentum and get around Mauricio on the outside lane still. And now it's Bud and Mauricio side by side. And now Larry Pace looks set to lead a lap here. Trying to go out of turn 4. There's Sean Palig in the 48. Keep an eye on him. And the 39 is Zach Campbell as the 2 of Chilcutt tags the law out of 4. He'll lose some time.
So Larry Pace makes it another lead change in 2 laps. I believe that's 4 lead changes now in 2 laps. And Larry Pace will set the pace, no pun intended, for the rest of these drivers out here. Here comes Christian Bud one more time. Sean Palig in the mix as well. But don't count out the 39 or 40 as they're looking to do a little business out there. Nick Doucette, Emily Howe on the tail end of that train as well, looking to get their names up front. Christian Bud now on the apron. He will technically be your leader that time by, but in practicality, he's still fighting off Pace.
And Pace looks really comfy on that outside lane. He's alone on that outside lane too. Something that needs to be noted, he's very well alone on that outside lane. Typically, when you see a couple drivers try to sort of go up there and sort of flirt with that outside lane, Pace is all alone in that. And I think he's loving that at the moment. Doucette's trying it here in 3 and 4. But Larry Pace using all the momentum that's available on that outside lane to really fight with Christian Bud. He leads that lap, so another lead change. 3 laps in a row with a different leader so far.
Lots of lead changes up front. We knew coming in it was going to be an exciting race because of the physicality of it. We also didn't know how many drivers were hungry and wanted to put their mark on this track. Larry Pace and the Lucas Oil Machine doing a great job of leading. Christian Bud immediately down there, 2 by 2, second, third, fourth, and fifth right now, as everyone's kind of scratching their heads. What do we do? How do we challenge Larry Pace without wrecking what we've got or tearing up the tires underneath us? 3 wide now for second place, and I think maybe tires are not the concern. It's how bad do you want it?
Larry Page showing how bad he wants it. He's been denied so many times a good result. Thinking all the way back to Martinsville earlier this season, just how many times he's been denied a really good race. Has a chance to see that change if he can hold on here. Christian Bud falling back here a little bit. That's Sean Palig up to second, and Zach Campbell now back up to third. Single file from most of the field, but it seems like it's very much temporary as everyone tries to figure out what lane they want to go in. Larry Pace has made his choice very clear. And now it seems like more drivers keen to follow him through, seeing that 98 be successful on the outside lane. But you see him step out sideways on the exit of 2. He has got his hands full, and I think the drivers are aware of that. It is not a walk in the park to be at the front of the field.
It is, again, the case of the wiggles for him, but he's able to recover, and he will stay up front, winning this race. Sean Palig now under fire from the 39 machine. 39 side by side now as they continue to fight for position. And look who's up in the mix now. Emily Howe, the 15, trying to break her flying machine all the way up front. Emily Howe, first time breaking into the top 4 at this point. She started well up in the mix, and now she's got a shot at leading some laps.
Side by side with Christian Bud, you see there in our roof cam at the moment, as Christian Bud I think tagged the wall, big time tagged the wall in front of Gabriel Mauricio. Now side by side with Sean Palig. Emily Howe going for third place and should get it here.
easily gets third place as we ride on board with her number 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, but still incredible competition around her as we have a new leader, Zach Campbell, in the 39, not 41 Target Chevrolet tonight, is going to be your leader for the first time. He'll be your leader, and now he's got some battling happening behind him as a jockey for position number 2. Emily Howe gets a little sideways. Larry Pace gets a little sideways as well. On the high side, you have Sean Paley, you have Christian Budd, Gabriel Mauricio, all of them trying to line up, see if they can start charging towards your leader.
Zach Campbell, obviously he's going to visit on lap 6, same with Emily Howe. Emily Howe just struggling to get around some of the drivers that are on the older tires now as we roll closer and closer to lap 20.
Closer and closer to lap 20, and as we start getting close to lap 20, we're going to start seeing pit stops happen, possibly under the green flag. We'll have to see how everybody gets moving. It's corrected. I correct myself on the 39 machine. That is actually going to be a Dodge. I forgot Dodge was a manufacturer back then. So pardon me for my mistake there, as it looks like we're having some camera issues. We'll continue to follow along as best we can. Or no, we have our first taker on pit road.
Yeah, Andy Reeves was a taker on pit lane there in the 97 car, getting 4-tire service. He'll go a lap down. He qualified at the back of the field, so he had one of the first pit boxes there. But sort of that's your indication that pit lane is open for service, and that first window is live. And here comes trouble, Alex Chilcutt, number 2 machine. He had trouble coming down pit lane.
But he made it down pit lane safely. He may have made it down as well at speed. So we'll have to see exactly how that works. We have a caution flag now out. 3 cars involved. Davin Cornelius, the 0 of Corey Cook, and I believe we also saw the 20 machine involved. That belongs to Brandon Cruz.
Yeah, 3 cars on the back straightaway, and that bails out a lot of drivers that had pit stops incoming. Unfortunately for Chilcutt and for Andy Reeves, they'll now be stuck a lap down. Especially for Chilcutt, seeing as how he's just outside the top 10 when he made his pit stop. That's a big loss for the 2 car. But second caution of the night
big
comes
loss.
out.
Second caution of the night. Now, you're absolutely right. That is going to be a big loss for them. They are going to have to play catch up now the rest of the race as they will get stuck, possibly a lap down, if not worse. Let's go ahead and follow along and see what exactly caused the second caution flag to come out. And I think it starts with a 77 of the 77 machine. That 77 belonging to Davin Cornelius. Oh no, it's a 0 of Corey Cook gets into the side of the 77. The 77 then gets into the 20. 3 cars involved in that incident, and I'm not sure if the 0 hit the wall or if he just got the case of the wiggles there. But that is going to start a chain reaction that will harm those 3 cars.
So go back and look from our chopper cam here, and we'll actually slow it down for a second. The window opens up for Cruz to try to put it 4 wide here on the exit of 4. You have the 1 of Hernandez there on the outside lane. Cornelius in the 77. Cook gets a little loose. Cornelius gets a little tight. They both sweep down the racetrack, and Cruz, who's the fourth lane, nowhere he can go. Unfortunately for both of them.
You know, if he hadn't slid coming off the turn, if he was able to keep it straight and keep it going as fast as he could, he may have been able to avoid that. But you saw the 20 get a little bit loose coming off of turn number 2. You saw him struggling there, and that wiggle may have made the whole difference between getting out of that safe and getting involved in that one. So damage on all 3 of those cars. Nothing catastrophic, though, as we'll take a look one more time from the perspective of Corey Cook.
Yeah, this is Cook. He's 3 wide. Here's 4. Staying out the 1 car. But there's the 77 and there's the 20. He's like, what happened there? Well, unfortunately, 4 out of 2 just doesn't work quite the way some people expect it to, especially when everyone's on old tires as well. Very easy for the stumbling blocks to sort of come out there, and you see a little bit of damage there on the side of Cook's machine. Easy to flatten out. You just have to spend some extra time on pit lane under this caution, which thankfully gives him plenty of time to make that happen.
Plenty of time to make that happen as everybody now has come down to the attention of their crews on pit road, and we've seen the entire lineup get mixed up quite a little bit. Let's take you down where everything's happening right now. According to our scoring, Philip Snipes is currently in first position, and I think that's because he has not come down pit road yet. No, it looks like he is saving as much fuel as he can, trying to get that 5 extra bonus points for leading a lap. He should go down this time by, but when he comes down, it'll be Zach Gamble back in front of the field, Emily Howe in second, Christian Budd third, and Sean Bailey rounding out the top 4, and I believe that's a 29, yes, of Jose Solis Jr. will be rounding out your top 5. Nick Duzette, Tom Lewandowski, Gabriel Mauricio, Parker Alexander in the top 9 as well.
See Larry Pace there, who was leading laps earlier in this race. He'll still be in the top 10 once Phil Snipes makes his pit stop. But he'll be just ahead of Dylan Roberts, Mike Rasmus, TJ Crampton, who we said needed a really good race to try to keep his chances alive. We're seeing that right now from the 50 car. He'll be 13th on this restart. It looks like actually Philip Snipes staying out. Very interesting call here by Philip Snipes, because I believe we're going to come to 1 to green. This is going to be very interesting. It is going to be 1 to green. The lights in the pace car are off, so that's going to be very interesting. So now this is all legitimate positions here. Very entertaining to see how this is, because Philip Snipes put on lap 7. So he's definitely got a pit stop coming very shortly in his future.
He'll have a pit stop coming in his future, but I think he may be betting on the fact that there will be more caution flags coming. You have to remember, everyone now has colder tires. They're not as grippy as they were. They're going to have to take a few laps to get going back again. So this means we're going to see more of that slip sliding bug out there. We're going to see them move back and forth just a little bit, and this could play into the strategy of the 19 machine. We'll have to see if Philip Snipes can continue to make this work, or if he's going to be a victim of his own circumstances. Interesting driver, finished last season in 20th position overall, in now almost 30 starts with the series. He has 1 top 10, wants to make that at least 2 tonight, as he will lead all the drivers back to the green flag this time around. Pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road, and now the field is in command of the 19, Philip Snipes, the man who would be king. Green flag flies, and he is going to get the heck out of the way. He knows what's at stake here, and he just wanted to run that parade lap for everybody. The lead goes back to the 39 of Zach Gamble.
Campbell, Howell, Budd now top 3, Peleg 4th, Solis and the 24 Doucette in the top 5 as they battle for that 5th spot. Everyone had to check up a little bit to get around the 19 of Philip Snipes, who's still holding around in the top 10. Very interesting call there by the 19 car. We'll see if it pays off for him. With the Dodge leading a Chevrolet, leading a Ford. In the top 3 at the front of the field. And you see Christian Budd now getting more familiar with that outside lane. Wants to lean on early here to try and make up some positions and get back to the front of the field where he started this race.
Zach Gamble continues to lead Christian Budd all over his back bumper, and don't count out Emily Howe, who is now just biding her time, slowly pacing these 2 cars, waiting to make her move. Sean Peleg, Nick Doucette now in the top 5 as well. Don't count them out. Tom Lewandowski in the mix, Jose Solis Jr. in the mix, Gabriel Mauricio in the mix. If the 39 is feeling the pressure, he is not showing it. Ice water through the veins of that 39 machine as he continues to hold off the crowd. Meanwhile, Christian Budd gets around on the hard way, going on the outside, and Christian Budd should be your new leader once we come to the start-finish line through turns 3 and 4, and now on to the tri-oval. It will be Christian Budd retaking the lead on lap number 27.
Good stuff so far by Christian Budd, showing that he does have some pace in that 17 machine. But here comes the 40 of Mauricio, the Brazilian, trying to go to the front of the field as well. He's got his teammate to go through, and a mountain of cars behind.
Mountain of cars is a good way to put it, as they all stay in line, trying to get around the fastest way possible. Lewandowski now on the high side in that Motorcraft Air Force Ford machine. Almost gets sideways there, almost trouble for the 21, but he will make the deal dirt track it and make it work for him. Move him up now to position number 4 as he gets on the back bumper of Gabriel Mauricio in that Silver Bullet machine. 4 cars all vying for position. It's a Ford leading a Dodge, leading another Ford to Chevy.
But leads the way still. Now he's on the clean air. He's in the inside lane. You have to look all the way back to Nick Doucette in the 24 in the outside lane. He's the only one in the top 10 running the outside lane. He's just trying to find real estate to try to get around the 15 Emily Howe to try to move closer to the top 5. That is almost nose to tail all the way through. Emily Howe drives in deep in turn 1 and 2. Doucette drives a little bit deeper in 1 and 2 to try to stay in between the 2 DEI machines, because Dylan Roberts is right there behind him as well, ready to pounce if Doucette or Howe makes a mistake.
Halfway through tonight's feature, and it's still yet to be determined. Everything is on the line for these drivers tonight. Don't count anybody out just yet. Even though the crossed flags fly at this point, we still got plenty of racing left to do here in Joliet, Illinois, in the just outside Sweet Home Chicago.
A lot of fun watching all these cars roll around at the moment. Going down the curve back straight away. Here comes Peleg on Lewandowski. Lewandowski going after Mauricio. 3-car fight here for third. They stay behind Campbell and Bud, who are back where they started this race, first and second. But remember, there is still 1 green flag pit stop to go in this race.
Potentially yellow flag stop if some more craziness happens on the track as a cloud comes over. That should mix up the racing conditions just a little bit, maybe add some grip to the track as it cools down. No changes in up front right now. Everybody seems to be content. Everybody, that is, but the 21 of Thomas Lewandowski. He'll get on the door on the quarter panel of the 48 of Sean Peleg, unable to make the pass. He'll have to go back. He'll have to go back in line and try once again. He's going to go high, but that should open the door for Nick Doucette to get through, and maybe another driver. We'll have to see, as the top 5 now turn into the top 4 up front. Nick Doucette now in the mix, Emily Howe back in the mix, and the 8 machine, Brett Dylan Roberts, all also trying to get some position.
Keep an eye not too far back there. There's Mike Rasmus in the 6. He's been very quiet so far in this race. We took note of where he qualified, because he qualified in the top 10. Dropped back a little bit early on in the initial start. Obviously being caught up there with the slow start by Alex Kolonix. But now he's back in the top 10, sitting in 9th. They had a Jose Solis Jr. and just by Emily Howe, trying to find a way around the 18 and the 5. Putting in some really decent work. We talked about him being someone that needed a good result or two to really kind of reel in that top 10. With where Parker Alexander is right now, Parker Alexander right now is in the 11th place, just behind him here. But then you look at where the 9 is of Brendan McGee. Brendan McGee is not present in this race. Or not present at all in the top 10. Trying to find out. He's down in 15th place, excuse me. Had it marked it as a different number or color on my end. But he's down in 15th at the moment, so he's going to lose some time. He's going to lose some points right now to Rasmus as it stands. He's going to lose some spots. He's going to lose some the points to Parker Alexander. This margin at the edge of the top 10 in points right now is about to tighten up significantly if Rasmus can hold on to this at the moment. Doing a really good job right now. Chris Champeau also likewise not where we expected to see the 18 car. He is struggling quite a bit here as Timothy Latham comes down pit lane. Same with Anthony Krobach. Chris Champeau down in 16th place as well. So really important for the drivers that are on the edge of the top 10 of the Winstel Cup chase, because all of them are in the same pocket, and we're going to see this, I think, just about every race between now and the end of the regular season at Bristol.
So to give you an idea of where we came in tonight, Parker Alexander does hold on to that 10th spot right now. He's got 6 points on Tyler Head, but Tyler Head's only running a partial season, so he is not necessarily a threat tonight. Chris Champeau, though, about 40 points plus or minus away from position number 10. Mike Rasmus, Jonathan Hernandez, all in the mix as well. So Parker Alexander, who's currently running in 11th, he needs to do as much as he can to defend that position, because look who's in front of him. Mike Rasmus is in front of him. Jose Solis is in front of him. A lot of drivers who could make his run at the chase very complicated, all running in front of him with time running out.
23 laps to go here in Chicagoland. Jose Solis Jr., he was up in the wall out of 2, trying to find a way around the 15 Emily Howe, and gets around the 15 car. But he is burning it up on that outer lane right now, running about as high as you could possibly get in this situation at the moment.
Sometimes you just got to drive it like you stole it, especially knowing the time is running out and you got a pit stop coming up in the next couple laps. Why not try it? See if you can run it on older tires just for fun and see what happens as we continue to go green flag racing. Scoring lap number 39 as we follow along here towards the back of the field. Brandon Cruz in that 20 machine. He was involved in an incident earlier, not necessarily his fault, as he now continues to slide it all the way around the track. You'd think he was in some kind of drifting competition the way he goes. Currently running position number 30. That could definitely create some complications for his season as well.
Yeah, that does not help him out at all. He's still recovering from the incident he had with Corey Cook there and Davin Cornelius. Cornelius in 23rd. Corey Cook, you see right there with the 0 car just ahead. And Olivia Hayward in 31st. Sitting right there, struggling as well. Just not really having quite the pace of that 36 car to really contend at the moment. But that, again, a lot of things can change with the quick caution in the last 20 laps, because that would take out the strategy call and it would make it a full flat-out fight here, as Gabriel Mauricio, I believe, coming down pit lane he is.
Mauricio will be the first one to come down pit road, and he's not alone. Larry Pace is going to come down as well. The 98 and the 40 will come down side by side. Two different manufacturers, two different teams, but I think they've got an agreement, a gentleman's agreement between them to make it work. Christian Budd back in the lead up front, in front of the 39 machine. That, of course, belonging to Zach Campbell. Sean Peleg now in third as well. So all eyes are on these drivers up front to see when they're going to take their pit stops, as we know they have to take them here in the next 5 laps or so.
So look, keep an eye on the 48 of Peleg. It looks like he tied the wall there out of 2 a lap ago. Everyone now drifting up to the outside lane. Everyone really pushing these tires to their limit, because they know a pit stop's coming here very shortly, and you see just how much the dancing around out of 2. Peleg just trying to not lose so much time. It's really in the hands of some of the drivers that are pitting early and getting that undercut, because they're going to have the fresh tires. They can run the inside lane a lot easier as well. As here comes Peleg and Dylan Roberts.
Peleg, Dylan Roberts will come down pit road this time by, and it looks like they're going to join by the 41 of Zach Campbell. Check the 39 of Zach Campbell, who was leading this race just a few minutes ago. So those three will come down pit road this time to the attention of their crews. Christian Budd continues to lead, and I think Christian Budd may be one of the last ones we see down pit road. He may be able to try to use his speed that he's got tonight, along with some fresher tires, to try to run down your leaders. But the longer he stays out, the more speed, the more time he gets ahead of all of them. Davin Cornelius currently in 9th. We're waiting to see when the Jasper Dodge will come down pit road as well. Right, Mike Rasmus passes him. It will be this time by that the 77 comes down pit road. He's going to be joined by, looks like, the 32 machine.
Yeah, Matt Taylor came in. A lot of drivers came in. Bud, Doucette, Emily Howell, they all came in. It gives Parker Alexander the race lead, so he'll score 5 points for leading a lap here in Chicagoland as he comes up on the 39 of Zach Campbell. Shoots to the inside lane, but Campbell's got the fresh tires, so he'll just pull away on the exit of 4 as Parker Alexander decides that this is the time to come down pit lane himself. So here comes Brennan McGee to lead a lap.
So score 5 extra points for Parker Alexander. That will help his campaign towards getting into the chase. Brendan McGee will now pick up 5 extra points as Nick Doucette comes off pit road. Christian Budd comes off pit road as well. Brendan McGee now in position number 1 in that number 9 machine. Again, his potential to get into the chase also at a premium right now. He needs all the points he can get to try to get that Evernham number 9 Dodge dealers Dodge in back in the chase. He'll come down pit road this time by yielding the lead, and I believe Ali Osman now will inherit the lead.
That's correct. Ali Osman will take the lead away here. The 30 car will lead a lap and grab some 5 points there, but Osman not in the chase contention conversation at the moment. Obviously, you look at the starts that he's only made. He's made 7 up until tonight, so he's missed 4 races in this season so far. He's only got 1 top 5, 1 top 10. Both of those coming at Daytona just last week. So obviously not the season he's been looking for. He's going to come down pit lane as well. So a bit of a hot potato for those that are trying to lead laps. Here comes Mo Perry. He'll also grab 5 points. Aiding him in the Rookie of the Year competition.
So now Scarborough Perry as your leader, this time by one of his few times he has led a lap here in the 2024 Winstel campaign, harkening back to the 2004 season. But this could be the only lap he leads as he gets slideways there a little bit. Look for him to come down pit road, if not this time, next time by. And I believe if my scoring is correct, that would give the lead to the 42 of Evan Locke.
Evan Locke was a lap dead. He's already pit. It'd be the 89 of Hayden Repas, the 89 right here on your screen. So it looks like the 12 is coming in here. So see if the 89 does stay out here. You look at him, he's outside the top 35 in points, which is important for a different matter. And he is going to stay out here. But he's definitely off pace and just trying to grab some points as they arrive. He does grab those 5 bonus points. But the top 35 is important because it locks you into the first 4 races of next season. And right now the 89, it sits outside of that. So if we enter Daytona with a bunch of interest like what we did this season, and he doesn't make it, he's going to be looking at the point situation this season as a big reason as to why he wasn't able to lock himself in. Right now he's got those 5 bonus points for leading a lap. He's the only driver outside the top 35 right now that's led a lap in this race. And he's going to keep leading laps here because there's Zach Campbell just behind him who's going to try to take it away because Zach Campbell is on the lead lap here going for the race lead. See what he can do. And you see that that's just pace difference there for Campbell there around the 89. And Mauricio's not going to be too far behind. And I think Hayden knows the game is cooked at this point.
The game is up. The jig is up, as they say in this sort of situation. Hayden Repas will take those 5 points on his strategy. He'll be forced to come down pit road anytime now at this point. So once again, we've cycled all the way through, and once again, the 39 machine of Zach Campbell will be your leader. Not to be outdone, though. Mauricio in second. It'll be Bud in third, Larry Pace in fourth, and Sean Peleg rounding out your top 5. And with 10 laps to go, you got to put everything on the table now. You can't just sit back. You have to race as hard as you can if you want to try to take the lead and ultimately the win. But it's going to be very hard because both Christian Budd and the 39 of Zach Campbell have incredible speed all night long.
And you want to talk about shuffling the field around a little bit. Mike Rasmus, if you want to look at him, he's up in the 6th position at the moment. That's a huge gain from him on the pit stop cycle there, but he's got a lot of battling to do to stay ahead of Dylan Robertson, the 8, and Nick Doucette in the 24. But right now he's in a really good spot. But also keep an eye on the 11 of Parker Alexander. He's in 11th. There's TJ Crampton in the 10th position at the moment, trying to hold off the 5. Brendan McGee gained a couple spots. He's up to 12th. And keep an eye on him. Chris Champeau battling with Jonathan Hernandez. Those outside the top 10 in the playoffs right now are here to play to try to make their way into the chase. Top 10 in points get you there at the end of Bristol in a few weeks' time. Everyone racing to grab as many points as you possibly can. Champeau in 14th. The 34th Corey Steinhauser, who is not on the lead lap. Posey Slovis Jr. is the next car on the lead lap there in the 29 car. 15th place for him. Alex Choquette recovered from his early pit stop fiasco. He's up to the 16th position in that number 2. Miller Lite Dodge. He's ahead of Alex Bates. As Nick Doucette gets around the 8 of Dylan Roberts there, tries to complete that pass. Out in their turn number 2. You see the outside lane. As I mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast, the outside lane, once it gets going, it's hard to stop. That's why. It's such a good lane defensively.
Great lane defensively, and all of them are making it work here at the track. 8 laps to go before we're only down to 4 more races before we start the chase. But right now, we've got unfinished business here in Joliet. Up front, it is, I believe, Zach Campbell back in the lead, but Christian Budd all over his back bumper. These 2 drivers could be looking to try to settle some unfinished business right now as the 17 gets on his back bumper through turns 3 and 4. Will it be enough for the 17 to make get the lead back and make his 3rd win on the season? Not yet, but I believe they're going to have some talking to do here in the next 6 laps.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. This is going to be very, very, very difficult for Zach Campbell because he was one of the first ones that came in compared to Christian Budd. And
Christian Budd just burning it off right now as he is door to door, side by side with that 39 machine. Yeah, as Zach Campbell doing everything he can to maintain defensive driving out there, trying to hold on to his lead. It won't happen as the 17 cuts the tri-oval, and he will technically be the leader that time by, but he's still got some unfinished work there. The 17 doing everything he can to dig up front, try to hold out, get the lead wholesale. Not going to happen here on the backstretch. Can it happen in 3 and 4? The 17 will get around. The 39 tries to cross over. Great block by the 17. And with 4 laps to go, Christian Budd up front. It's his race to lose.
And Zach Campbell got really loose out of 4, trying to scramble to get back to the 17's bumper. Not going to happen. Gabriel Mauricio looks pretty set right now, pretty comfy in 3rd, but a lot can happen in 4 laps here. And Dylan Roberts has got a full head of steam as he's gotten up to the top 4. Gotten around both the Hendrick cars, the 24 and the 48. And there's Larry Pace as well, the 98 car, who has also fallen out of the top 5 as well. We'll see if the 8 can make any inroads or see if that could possibly be Nick Doucette, who goes up to the wall. Find a lane, make a lane. For 24 car, Nick Doucette staying right on that quarter panel. And we've seen how much throughout history the 8 and the 24 have battled throughout the years. It is no different here as Doucette and the 8 of Roberts down the back straightaway with 3 laps to go. Doucette's going to get away with 3rd place potentially if he can stay clear. And Mauricio still losing time, less than a second ahead, but looking at his teammate in front with a chance to get to 2nd place. Trying to solidify things, less than 3 miles to go in this race.
Some things never change in this world, as it's going to be a Ganassi 2-3 right now with Christian Budd in the lead. 2 Dodges have the chance to go home in podium position. All they need to do is hold on and hope they keep doing some infighting behind them. Christian Budd, no challenge to his lead thus far. He's gotten over a 2nd lead on his competitors, and it's Christian Budd's race to win. White flag flies this time in the air. 1 more to go for Christian Budd to take home the race here in Chicagoland and be the only 3-time winner on the season so far. Christian Budd now into the backstretch as we have a battle for position number 2. Mauricio trying to get the edge on his 39 machine of Zach Campbell. Zach Campbell does not want to give up that position. He's now going to dive down, stop the 40 from progressing. The 40 will give him a little love tap to try to get him out of the way, but no dice. Doucette hoping something crazy happens between the 2 and he'll pick up podium position. No dice. It will be Christian Budd, your winner. Zach Campbell in 2nd and Gabriel Mauricio in 3rd. A fun finish all the way around for your top 3.
That was a wild finish. That was a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, Christian Budd was able to pull away there, but the battle between teammates there and Nick Doucette closed in a massive rate on that final lap. If there was 1 more lap, that would have been absolutely magical. But what a race.
That was a lot of fun watching them. You could tell they had a lot of fun on this track. They had a lot of fun racing each other, and it was just good racing all the way around. As Christian Budd burns them down, not only is he the only multi-time winner on this season, he now has 3 wins, all but locking him into the chase this season.
Absolutely outstanding stuff there for the 17 machine. Congrats to that 17 crew. They did a fantastic job tonight. Picking up that race win.
So Christian Budd will walk away with the win. And again, that's the only multi-race winner. He also won 2 other races this season. He was your winner at Auto Club Speedway, the Auto Club 500, and was a winner at Texas for the Radio Shack 500. So great finish for him all the way around, and give him 3 checkered flags. That's his 3rd one on the season. Let's go ahead and take you through our unofficial results for the evening. Lots of great racing to go through. Lots of great racing to come out. Christian Budd, your winner. Zach Campbell barely edges Gabriel Mauricio for the top 3 spots. Nick Doucette in 4th. Dylan Roberts will pick up a top 5 for the season. Sean Pele comes in 6th. Emily House 7th. Larry Pace gets a top 10, as does Mike Rasmus and Parker Alexander.
Yeah, really good run for all of them there. TJ Crampton just outside the top 10 there. A good run for the car 50. Getting there into the 11th position. Brandon McGee, also a good run for him. He did not qualify well, but he finishes pretty well, finishing in 12th. I had Jonathan Hernandez, Jose Solis Jr., Chris Champeau. They were not your top 15 here in Chicagoland. Matt Taylor, Alex Bates, Ali Osman, Alex Chilcutt, and Corey Cook make up the top 20 here in Chicagoland. The top half of the field, 40 cars started this race.
40 cars started this race, and most of them will finish under their own power. Davin Cornelius, Steve Brown, Evan Locke, Andrew Griesbaum, Matt Sisseler, 5 straight Dodges in 21 through 25th position. Olivia Hayward, Brandon Cruz, Timothy Latham, Tyler Murray, and James Ball is your top 30.
You start looking at some of the drivers that really struggled in this race in the bottom 10. Philip Snipes, Rory Collins, Thomas Lewandowski, down in 33rd, not where Lewandowski wanted to be. Had to make a very late pit stop there in the race. Alex Kolonix in the 45 machine has started really well, just didn't finish well. It was never really on pace here. After that initial start, which he wheel spun, it just seemed like that 45 car just fell backwards, like it had an anchor attached to it. Kyle Benson also did not have a lot of fun here. He was caught up in a couple of incidents that did not result in cautions. The 36, not a great strategy call, but led laps, which is new for that 89 machine, but 36 for them. Mo Perry finishing the race in 37th, Corey Steinhauser 38, Anthony Krobach and Andy Reeves. They'll be the 2 DNFs, the 39th and 40th place cars. Krobach finished 33 laps, Andy Reeves only completing 16.
And that is your field of 44 tonight as they finish. Let's go ahead and start tonight by talking to the man who started on pole and the man who burned it down at the end, Christian Budd, your only 3-time winner. And Christian, it's got to feel great to know that you're basically at this point locked in to the chase.
Yeah, for sure. That's always a nice feeling. But honestly, I really wanted to win the race tonight. The setup was really awesome. So thanks to Emily and the whole Winstel gang who worked on it. Just a lot of fun to drive, really hard to drive, for sure. So just what a battle.
You say it's hard to drive, but you made it look really, really easy out there. What was the secret to your speed? What was it about the setup that you mastered that everybody else struggled with?
Well, I think when it comes to setups like these, the biggest thing that will separate anybody is just the ability to get back on the throttle early and still not burn your tires off. And I felt like I was able to make speed, but still keep the tires on it long enough. Also kind of just had it in my head that, it's kind of like money, you can't take the tires with you, right? So you use every little bit that you have available before you take them off.
So a lot of people said this setup had a lot of wiggles in it. Said there was no pickup in the back end. It was like ice on the backside. What was it like for you? Were you feeling the same way about it? And do you feel like, being loose kind of worked for you? Was loose fast tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the setup was definitely a handful, that's just kind of a staple of Winstel, and it's something that I personally really enjoy driving. I don't want them to be tight for sure. So when they're loose, it's just a lot of fun to drive. And I mean, as far as for me personally driving it, I definitely noticed it. And certainly you could use your rear tires and burn them off and cause yourself some issues. So you have to drive carefully but still fast, and that's what makes it fun.
So as I said in the beginning, you're the only driver this season who now has 3 wins on the season. Tyler Head, last season's champion, who's not going to be going for a championship this year, is the only other driver with multiple wins this season. Are we seeing a preview of what could transpire in the chase in just 4 more races?
Well, I sure hope so. You got to just take it 1 week at a time. And capitalize when you can. Fortunately for me, the 1.5 mile tracks are something that I like and have generally been, the most successful at. And you're not going to have quite as many of those in the chase. You've got a short track, and you've got a Dover and a New Hampshire, a flat track and things. So, the key to that is just to be good everywhere. And there's going to be a lot of talented people in that chase. So, right now I just want to be competitive, win as many as I can. Feel like maybe I've been making up a little bit for the last couple seasons where I wasn't so successful. So it feels really good though. And especially with this competition, everybody just drove their hearts out tonight, and so much fun to drive against such a talented people.
Christian, for the 3rd time this season, who makes it work for you in the 17 team?
Yeah, just everybody here at Winstel. It's just so much time and effort into these, and it's really great to see everybody come out and doing these races and all these 2004 paint schemes and everything. Just really fun. So thanks everybody who showed up tonight, and hopefully we put on a good show for the fans.
Christian Budge, your winner for the 3rd time tonight here at Chicagoland Speedway. Zach Campbell running a new number tonight, but did not damper his spirits. He finishes 2nd in tonight's race. And Zach, you seem to find speed in the car, but you almost was a little too much too late as you barely got edged out. What happened with the car at the end?
Well, I was on 2 tires, so it was quite the adventure there, trying to just throw something at the wall and see what happens. And so just trying to get through there and having to drive around a few lap cars in the outside lane certainly didn't help the right rear, and did the best we could to bring it home in the end.
Why 2 tires? When everyone else was looking at 4 tires or different strategies, what made you guys go with 2 tires, and do you regret that strategy?
No, I had to try something to beat Bud. He was better than me, and he was going to take 4 tires, so got to do something different, and didn't work out here, but there have been a few times in the past where it's worked out, and just a little 5 laps too short. So
got to ask you about that last lap with your teammate Gabriel Mauricio. Looks like he gave you a little tap coming into turns 3 and 4. How was that like? What was that like racing your teammate like that?
That was fun. I enjoyed it. Gabe's nice. He didn't quite get to my rear bumper. I'm pretty sure I would have crashed with how loose I was if he did. So, it was fun. Nice, easy. He got to me. He was on 4 as well. So, just trying to make ground. Big,
if nothing else, a moral victory for you tonight, being able to finish 2nd. Looking at the rest of your season, what is the goal for you in the now renumbered 39 team? Are we looking at getting into the top 35 and locking in for next season? What are you thinking long term?
I'm gonna try and go out there and win every race I can. I think we've won at least 1 this year and had a lot of fun in the others. So go out there, have fun, win races.
Zach, who makes it work for you in the 39 team?
Everyone at Winstel, you guys for broadcasting, and Christian Bud, guys like that for making this league fun to run in.
Final question: what's with the renumber this season? This late in the season?
We're just changing it up a little bit. Same sponsor, same car, but just having a little bit of fun with it.
Same sponsor, same car, but a new Zach Campbell behind the wheel, finishing 2nd here tonight in Joliet. Gabriel Mauricio gets a big run towards the end to finish in 3rd. And a lot of people having different thoughts about this car. Gabriel, what was your thoughts about it, and how did you make it work to get a 3rd place finish?
Man, I had a blast all day. Sometimes I would get way too loose and feel like I might crash somebody, cut somebody off late in the corner. But overall, like the entire race, I was having a blast running, racing with everybody. You could pretty much pick every lane and try to do something. And obviously, you had to save the right rear, but not saving by like laying back. You still had to push and maintain an okay pace. And overall, I just had a blast today.
Lots of up and down for you this race, running in the top group, running back in the top towards the tail end of the top 15, and then finishing second. What was the strategy? What did you guys come in here looking to do, and what was your strategy to finish in third?
Yeah, so I barely qualified on the top 10. So early in the race, I just decided to go for it, and the inside didn't go, so I gained multiple positions, and we had a early caution. So that gave me track position quite early, especially with the single file restart following. And then with the last stint before the final pit stop, I kind of lost some ground. I hit the wall a couple times. I gave the position to Sean. It was pointless to try to race when the leaders are just pulling away. And then I think I pitted 3 laps earlier than Bud, and I was believing that I was gonna like cycle out around the top 5, but I was actually close to them. It was quite surprising. But then as soon as I was finding that I was like chasing Zach, that was the moment that Bud started catching me, and then I just had to like kind of lay back, otherwise the guys behind me were just gonna pass me with how the tires were at that point. And with like last 5 laps, I was really loose, so I had to back out, but at the same time I'm trying to catch Zach, so it was fun. We were fighting for grip, and I was just going for it.
Gabriel, with tonight's finish, with you in second place, you were pretty much all but locked into the chase. What are you thinking for the next 4 races? What are we going to see from you finishing out the regular season and going into the chase in just 4 weeks?
Yeah, I'm having fun with the consistency, but I truly miss winning. I just want to win a race again. So if I can have that luck in the chase, that's going to be awesome.
Gabriel, who makes it work for you in the team?
I just want to thank Winstel for a great setup. Way better than the official races.
Gabriel Mauricio will finish third tonight, taking the silver bullet into the podium position here at Chicagoland Speedway. Carmen, what a fun race. Everyone seemed to have a lot of fun, even though it was a little assy to drive, as one could say. But a lot of fun nonetheless for all these drivers out here tonight.
A really good race here at Chicagoland Speedway. Usually you see Chicagoland turn into one races where it's either really good, like what we saw with AB and Champ Car and obviously tonight, or it can kind of spiral and get away from you, like we've seen other series sort of produce from time to time. We had a couple of cautions spread throughout this race, but we still saw some strategy. We still saw some green flag racing. We still saw some green flag pit stops. We got to see a little bit of everything tonight, and that's honestly about as perfect of a race as you can get from Chicagoland Speedway. In that battle at the finish between the 39, the 40, the 24, coming down to the wire, it couldn't get much more interesting and much more compelling than that. And then we get to go and we get to do it again here very shortly, because we get to go, I believe, from Chicagoland to Indianapolis. I'm going to make sure I get this one right.
That's correct.
Because this is going to be interesting, because Indianapolis is going to end up being a very long race, 80 laps next week at Indianapolis. We get to see these drivers actually put pedal to the metal and really wiggle it around and really have to try to conserve tires. So we talk about tire conservation a lot here. 60 laps at a 1.5 mile racetrack, okay, you can kind of sprint through that. You can't sprint through 200 miles of this car at the Brickyard. It's going to be intense going into next week's race, and I cannot wait for it. It's going to be a lot of excitement there. The playoffs, you feel the anticipation beginning to build for those that are in and for those that are trying to get in. 4 races to go. Indy, Watkins Glen, Michigan, which is going to be an all-out brawl. Going to be absolutely fantastic to see. And then Bristol, we know how thunderous the Coliseum can be in July. We'll see that at the end of July 28th is when the regular season comes to an end and the chase begins. So it's crunch time here. Indianapolis we'll see in 2 weeks' time. Next week we have off for Father's Day. So everyone gets to sort of digest that and really get ready and get ready physically for Indianapolis there in 2 weeks. They're going to need it. That's going to be I think that's going to be probably one of the more compelling races we see this season, just because it is such a longer race compared to normal.
It'll be a much longer race and one I'm sure everybody will be anticipating. Like you said, 4 races left until we have the 10 drivers who will compete for the Winstel Cup Championship this season. And the march to the end starts in 2 weeks when we go racing from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 400. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight with the Winstel Cup Series at Chicagoland Speedway. Tomorrow, join us for the HTL Cup Series at Homestead Miami Speedway, where we go for 145 laps around the very familiar Miami Homestead Speedway. That starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. You won't want to miss it here on ABN1. We're going to take a 2-week break. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and those celebrating out there next weekend. We'll go back to Green Flag Racing on June 23rd, 7:45 Central, 4:40 or 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific, when we go do it one more time at the Brickyard here with the Winstel Cup Series. On behalf of my broadcast partner and the madam of ABN Esports, Carmen Sienna, my name is Joe Cortez. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time in Indianapolis. Good night, everybody.